Before we get started, I want to give a quick thank you to this episode's sponsor, Soundacres, ran by Gary Cioni. Soundacres is a recording studio based in New Jersey, just 30 minutes away from Philadelphia. Gary's been a part of many influential bands, including Crime and Stereo, Day Trader, and Nex. On top of that, has recorded for the likes of Free Throw, Pop Mulligan, and so much more. Make sure to check out Soundacres' social media down below, and let's make the album of your dreams.
And don't forget, you are the scene.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick, honestly with Martini. Today I got Vinnie from the Movielife, I Am The Avalanche, and Night Sports. How you doing today, Vinnie?
I'm doing great. I'm home from tour. I'm feeling happy to be home. And yeah, just been enjoying a quiet morning in Brooklyn. It's been yeah, felt really good. I feel great. How are you?
That's good, good. I appreciate you asking. Just got off of a night shift and woke up not terrible, so we'll take it.
Oh, what do you do?
I'm a psychiatric nurse.
Oh, wow. Where do you work?
Just like a behavioral hospital, like an inpatient behavioral hospital.
Awesome. Love
Yeah,
that. All right, this
but
is now an interview about you.
you're all good.
Strap in.
I'm ready for it. Funny enough, I had my first interview. Like someone interviewed me. It's such a cool feeling. So you did a ton of press for this recent album. So I'm sure like it's probably like annoying at this point, but it's still cool that like so many people were interested in talking about you and like the record and stuff.
Every conversation is different. And I'm super down to this record means everything to me. I'm down to chat with anybody that wants to talk about what we're up to, or it's seriously a pleasure. Like, this whole experience is just something that I really care about. So I'm all in, and I'm always down to hang. And that's why, you reached out ages ago, and I'm like, wait until the
Yeah,
record's out. I think we'll have more to talk about.
for sure. And yeah, thank you so much for staying in touch with me. I know we have like a few mutual friends, so it's like kind of easy. And I've also interviewed like now three of the six guys from Night Sports, but
I love it.
so I'm just like cutting through the band roster there. But yeah, I
Those
just
are all
want
good boys.
for sure, for sure. I just wanted to get started too. It's just how I kind of always started about like your background with music and kind of how you became, or how you got interested in like hardcore and punk and stuff. Like your first kind of
Um,
initial show.
when I was first exposed to it, um, things were going I'm like 12 years old, and like MTV's popping off, and it's like alternative music and stuff, you know what I mean? And like that kind of stuff was immediately I have two older brothers. They started listening to like Alice in Chains and Faith No More and Pantera, um and we started finding bands on Sub Pop, bands on Discord, and all everything that was going on. And then start realizing that hardcore scene is happening in New York City, and that Sick of It All exists. And then, oh shit, it's happening on Long Island too. And my brothers just came back from a show, and they brought a Mind Over Matter 7-inch home, and kind of were like, yeah. So like, one of my brothers played in a band on Long Island, and our other pal, they were called the Warp Weevil Wobbles, and our other pals in Vision of Disorder, who were like a band that still plays awesome shows now and have toured around the world. They were kind of um, all from the same town that I grew up in, and I was like a little brother figure to a lot of those guys, and including my brother, who's I'm definitely a little brother figure to. Um, but that's my intro, is my older brothers finding their own music, me getting into some of it, them finding Long Island hardcore, and me letting me tag along. And that's why we're talking right now. That's the beginning of it.
For sure. I think it's cool too. Like a lot of people do mention Discord and a ton of like smaller labels, but I feel like Sub Pop often gets forget, and that's like personally one of my favorite labels still till today, putting out like just really good alternative music.
Yeah, they had a pretty wild roster in the early 90s, and you know, my brother leaned more towards like Mudhoney and Green River and Screaming Trees and stuff like that. And I was leaning more towards like Seaweed and Tad and even Afghan Wigs and stuff. But like they had like we had a VHS tape from Sub Pop, and it was a video compilation, and we just I watched it like every day, and I think my brother did too. And sometimes we'd watch it together, and that's how we kind of found some of that stuff. Um, which maybe some people getting into Long Island hardcore weren't finding, but it was, Sub Pop was exploding at the um, right when the whole grunge thing was happening, and that whole phenomenon happened, and we were just totally interested in um, what else was out there besides Nirvana. You know what I mean?
For sure. It was funny too, you say like mind over matter. What was like your first what was your first like physical media that you bought that like really resonated with you? Cassette, CD, comp.
Vinyl U2 Joshua Tree, first vinyl. That was like mine.
Hmm.
Um, Cassette De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. Queensryche Empire. Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. Um, CD. What would be a good back then? Angel Dust, Faith No More.
Okay.
Um, Seaweed Spanaway. That was a huge one. That was a CD that I got some use out of. Face to Face live record. I wore that one out too.
I love a good live record. There's
It's so
something
good.
like when a live record actually sound, I don't know why, but it's funny you say live records too. Like with live records, sometimes they just make you want to listen to the band like over and over again, and like you just notice something else a little different than like what they usually do, and it just gets me hooked. Like mine for me would be like the my first like live album was Black Sabbath, The End, like their like
Mhm.
last show in Birmingham, and I played the shit out of that record. Like it was unreal.
What year is that from?
20, I guess it was 20, what was their last show? 18 or 16?
Damn, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's really good. And yeah, it's on YouTube, and I used to I remember I got exposed to it in a history class in 10th grade.
Hmm.
So maybe yeah, I probably was like 2016
By
or
a
2017.
teacher or a student?
No, teacher. Yeah.
Oh,
A
cool.
cool teacher. Yeah. We did like uh she was really into like rock and metal. So like we were doing shout out Miss Demont. That was her name. And she was just really into doing that kind of music. And so she would like play war songs and like we would like dissect them essentially.
Oh yeah, part
So it
of
was
the
like
lesson.
yeah, it was a little refreshing in comparison to, just learning about World War II and
Right.
all the stuff that everyone talks about in every single class in high school.
Yeah, and we fall asleep and we're totally not interested and we learn nothing.
Exactly.
I remember those teachers for sure. Shout out to the few teachers that whose names I remember. That's how disconnected I was from high school. I was not very studious.
So you were saying earlier about how like your brother was in a band and you had a friend in VOD and stuff. What was your first like hardcore band, and were you always a frontman, or was that something you kind of gravitated towards later in your career?
The Movielife is my first real band.
Oh, really?
I had a band in like ninth, 10th grade, I guess, but we kind of just made noise in a basement and we never played shows and stuff, so I don't really count it. But it was my first taste of like kind of making a song, and I do, you know, getting a taste, however you get it, you kind of take it with you and move on. And honestly, like aside from making noise in the basement in high school, in a thing I played drums in that
Mhm.
never played a show. Movie Life was my first Movie Life show. Was my first show.
What's it like still being able to like sell out shows and people still having such a good response to when you guys are going on tour? Like that's pretty cool with that type of longevity in a hardcore band nowadays.
Movie Life. Yeah, we had a show on Long Island like a month ago or so, and I honestly feel like it was like a top five, or it's the best Movie Life show I can remember in a long time. Um, that's huge. I mean, I love the Movie Life.
Hmm.
It's a special band to me. It's my first band. Um, me and Brandon Riley have been playing music together since 1999, 2000. Um, very, very special. It's awesome. I mean, starting a band, I had very little, um, I didn't have like a success plan or anything like that. Like starting a band was just like that. You just start a band. That's what you do. And you play some shows and your friends come out and you have fun and you're part of a community, you're part of a scene. And next thing you know, you're traveling the country and then you're traveling the world and people are into the songs. And that's something that I guess I'm used to. Um, it's not my first time ever hearing someone sing the words back to me, but I do remember the first time that happened. It happened on Long Island, obviously, but I seriously, I remember being in a basement, like a basement, garage basement-y kind of show in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 99. And there were probably 30 people there, and like 10 of them were singing the words to our songs in Pittsburgh. And I remember that feeling being like, wow, like it's possible to like kind of have that feeling everywhere and really enjoy traveling and doing what I still do. And it is very special. Like it's I still get the hair on my neck, the hair in the back of my neck stands up when I hold the microphone out and everyone sings back to us. It's just like very special, and I'm very, very grateful. So thank you to anybody who's been coming out to our shows for a while. This has been really fun, and it continues to be.
I was gonna ask too, like obviously the Long Island hardcore scene has I would say 9 times out of 10, the crowd is very engaged in the performance. You probably had people like singing to you and stuff. Do you have like any friends that you remember going to like your early shows and now are still going to your shows now,
Ah,
still singing the lyrics and stuff?
that's the beginning. That's how it worked at Long Island Hardcore. It was like, all right, you got some friends, and they're gonna be the ones that like make the show. You know what I mean? Like I put it. I think I put it to Jeremy from Touche. It's like, do you remember when like your first show is when all of your friends would come and ruin the show for everybody else and just lose their minds because they're trying to show you love and they're trying to be like, this is my guy, and show
Hmm.
you support. Yeah, that's what it was in the beginning, was just our friends um, being the people standing in front of us while we played. And then our friends starting to go wild. And then everyone else in the room is like, what do these people know that I don't know? And the next thing you're making fans, and you start to even on Long Island, you would start to see people you didn't recognize singing along. And that
Yeah.
was like, okay, this is something's going on.
I kind of want to pivot here just for a sec too. You mentioned Brandon and Night Sports did some shows with Nightmare you, sorry. What's it like being able to like play your kind of, I don't want to say alternative projects, but other projects that you might not be as, I don't know the proper way to say it. What's it like being able to play with a bandmate, but not in your actual like main band with them? You know what I mean? Like two
Yeah, it's
alternative projects. You see what I'm trying to say?
I do. It's very special. I mean, Brandon did the Nightmare Review shows and invited Night Sports along, and I get to experience it in a completely different way, just being a guitar player in night
Yeah.
sports and just having my fun that way. Also, getting to see all the Nightmare View re- reunion shows because I love that band and I love the record they played. Um, it's very special. It's not something me and Brandon thought we'd be doing. Like, 30 years down the line, we're going to be other bands that we care about and play in are going to play together. And then, I'm the Avalanche is going on doing some record release shows in the Northeast in June. Brandon's going to be opening those, playing solo. It's very special. Like, these are lifelong friendships and that we've nurtured and that we care about, and friends who make music that we love. So it's very special that we get to like have all this kind of fun. Um, that'll be Movie Life, Nightmare Review, and Nightmare Review. That's we're playing in three different capacities in the same year together.
Hmm.
It's very special.
You mentioned too about like having friends that you love, like making music with them. That's like kind of like the perfect representation of night sports that I've gathered with interviewing both Henbo and Brian. And Hembo said when I asked about the songwriting process, because this was pretty early on in night sports, he mentioned you saying that you're an amazing songwriter and it just comes so naturally to
Uh,
you. What's it like being able to get like that kind of recognition from bandmates and
I
getting
mean,
it's a different approach than your typical music, I feel like.
yeah, it's completely different like it feels completely different to me when I'm doing night sports. All the friends are fucking really close, but all every members are close friends. We have a great time together. We love and respect each other. We're all neighbors in the same neighborhood. Um, we have our clubhouse where all our gear is, and it's kind of a home away from home for us. We'll go there and sometimes we'll just go there and party. But yeah, the songwriting is cool. I'm not writing vocals, which is actually liberating. I'm I'm kind of the way I pitch in night sports is Henbo kind of comes up with song ideas in his head and then sings words to me, and then I build the guitars. I build a song underneath the song that's in his head,
Hmm.
and that's how the songs come out. And then we bring them to the guys, and then we turn it into the fully realized night sports. But it's a very interesting way of writing. I've never worked this way, and I'm glad that the way Henbo's approach is much different. Henbo kind of just sings a song in his head to me, and then we kind of make the song, which is and it just keeps working. We have like 9 songs done, and I love every one of them. We'll probably have a record out next year.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to all that coming out. You guys keep like dropped the singles and you guys did a music video too, didn't you, for the most recent one?
Yeah, for 17, we did a music video, super fun. Anything night sports related is fun, and it's always something I look forward to doing.
Yeah, it was really cool too, like hearing about this is kind of a different approach for you because like it might be helpful to have that kind of different approach when it's not your typical genre that you're really partaking in all the time.
Oh yeah, I'm scratching a major itch. I love bands that sound like whatever night sports is. I love those kind of bands,
Yeah.
and I get to show that I can kind of go there too, and I get to have that fun going there. I would say I went close to there on Avalanche United with This One's on Me. And that kind of I was kind of like, that is a place that I want to go one day, but we don't have to make every Avalanche song like that. But we eventually did when Henbo came into my life and told me one day, "Hey, I got some songs. Should we go to the space?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let's see what's up." Um, and yeah, that's like it's a 6-person band because we had to make sure that everybody was in the band.
You're like, we will make it work. I remember I was at your first show at TVI, and it's such a small stage for all of you guys. And I know
Oh
Brian
man,
was
we've
trying.
played smaller. I'll
Oh
tell
yeah, I'm
you what,
sure.
Union Pool was seriously funny trying to fit on that stage.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I played with like my guitar headstock just like vertical. I just played with like my neck of my guitar vertical.
One of my favorite shows that I'm the Avalanche did, and I think it also shows the kind of relationship that you have with the night sports guys was the I Am The Avalanche Crime and Stereo show in Long Island. Like it's cool too to see like even they like come say like Julian and Julian came out, and it's just cool to see you guys really do have that kind of connection in a band, and kind of
Yeah, we
mentioned it
got
too about all your different projects meshing together at different times and making it work.
yeah. It's very incestual situation. You know what I mean? It was just like I asked the Avalanche dudes. I was like, "What do you think about night sports playing Long Beach with us?" And everybody was just stoked because we don't all like live together, so like
Mhm.
in the same area. So half of the Avalanche had not seen night sports and said yes just solely on the fact that they wanted to see the band play. That was super special. That was a good night, man.
One of my favorite shows of the year, truthfully. It was really
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Long Beach is a magical town. We had all the right people in the room. It was like a room filled with love. It was wonderful.
Talking too about how you guys came out the new record, The Horror Show. This is I'm Avalanche's first record in a good few like 5 or 6 years or so.
Hmm.
Um, what's it like being able to just being able to finally put that out? I know you guys have been working on new music for quite a bit now, and being able to see like that final product over the finish line.
Yeah, it feels incredible. I'm so glad it's out. I'm so glad that it's everybody else's and it's just not something we're just sitting on. And I'm never been happier in my life, in my creative life. Um, yeah, this is the best week of my life. This record being out and just kind of making its way around the world and making its way into people's ears. And um, I just feel like people are really happy. Um, and I'm wildly happy. Um, this is this is a really important one, and we've had it finished. I think I finished tracking this record in May of last year, so that's how long we've kind of known what the record sounds like without anybody else having knowing what how it's you never know how it's gonna resonate with people, but it's a record that we know is special, and we're not trying to sound pompous. We're just sure that we made something meaningful, um, and then we leave it up to the listener to just kind of get into it however way they want to. It's a dream though. I can't believe the record's out. It's been
Do,
a really wildly difficult and strenuous and rewarding process. Um, but it's been all worth it.
do you feel it difficult, like being, you were saying how you tracked this record or tracked the record in May of last year. Do you find it difficult leading up to release date? And like, do you ever find it like re-listening to it and you're like, wait, maybe we should change this? Or do you, because then you just be really adjusting things forever.
That's that's every record I've ever made. Um, this record I haven't gotten there yet. I'll let you know. There's nothing I change about this one yet. I know it's might be recency bias, but um, this is the one I feel the most confident about. Where everything we set out to do, we did, and I mean, what's better than that?
What was kind of like the direction that you guys wanted to go with this new record? Because I feel like it still has the I'm the Avalanche sound, but some of like the song titles and the lyrics are a little bit different than what you guys are typically talking about. Was there anything that really influenced that?
Yeah, a ton. Life being ridiculously difficult. Worst few years of my life. While I was writing the lyrics to this record, um, that had a lot to do with it. Um, I had an awful lot to say, and an awful lot and just spent a long time figuring out how to say it in the right way and to make the record something well balanced that not only was like cathartic for just me, but hopefully like therapeutic and also just a good rock and roll record for everybody else. And as far as the music goes, like the music side minus the lyrics and the vocals is like we we went in a lot of directions, and that was deliberate. We made sure that, you know what, maybe it needs a song like this, and then we just make a song like that. Nah. All right, maybe we did. You know what I mean? There's probably like 10 songs that didn't make the record, most of which I didn't write vocals for. I tend to, when I'm looking at a whole body of music, I tend to just go through and listen to songs. And on that day, if it's time, it's time. That song that day, like it works. So I tend to just go to stuff, and then I'm like, this one I'm gonna come back to. Let me go to the next one. This one I know where I want to go with it. You know what I mean? So like, there's still probably 10 songs where I can go back and on another day and go, oh cool, and we'll put it on the next record.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I love the amount of directions we're going, um, and I'm grateful that I've been able to write about my life.
Was there any songs that you might have left off in a previous record that finally made this record? You were talking about revisiting and stuff.
No, so let's see, dive. I don't think that's ever happened. Thinking about Avalanche. No, we've always just moved on with our lives. A few riffs might happen here and there, like, oh, what about this riff? But like, we usually move on with our lives. I would say that'll probably be a little bit different this time around, like as we start to write the next record,
Hmm.
which I'm actually going to be doing the next like month. I have some time on my hands. I'm going to just start just to get a head start. And just not like sit on the couch doing nothing, you know what I mean? Like I want to keep it moving. Um there might be some leftover stuff from literally 10 songs that didn't make the record where I can get stuck into some of that, or at least it gives me a head start, gives us a head start to get somewhere else with it. But no, it's never happened. Never revisited a song that didn't make another record. We usually just move on, and you grow and you evolve, and that thing doesn't make sense to you anymore. But I know there's a few riffs from some of those songs that I'm gonna want to keep, and that Mikey's gonna want to keep.
Was there any songs that you've ever pitched, especially in the recent years, for either any of the bands that you pitched that a ton of the other band members didn't like and you had to scratch it and you were like, shit, I really want to put this out in some way?
No, it's
That's
never
good.
happened either.
I mean, that's a good thing
I'm
not
in
to
a
ever
room filled
happen.
with yes men. No,
Yeah.
no, like I usually like when I'm writing on my own, like, hey guys, here's this thing. It's different than like when me and Mikey are writing together, which is a lot of it is like, you know, I don't know, more than half of this record is probably me and Mikey with holding guitars writing together. And it's kind of hard to explain, but I basically know if a song's gonna work or not
Mhm.
most of the time because I can feel where I'm gonna go vocally and melodically and with and pattern, like vocal pattern and all that stuff. So I'm usually like, cool, put it in the bin, like, or this one's not gonna work. It was a nice exercise, but let's move on to something else. Or like, all right, cool, put this in the whatever, the vault. No, a vault you lock away.
Yeah.
Just put it on the list of songs that Vinny's going to write lyrics to, and that will eventually be on the record. It's usually the way it works.
With I Am the Avalanche, do you typically write with just Mikey since because I know you guys are kind of all over the place you were saying, or do you guys try to do like collectives as much as you can?
Um, I traveled a bunch to Mikey. We had some like writing, basically like a week of writing um, in Nevada, and then a week of writing in Virginia, and we got a lot of good stuff in those sessions. And then I brought a few to the table. Um, Kind of more like a complete song. There's probably like three of those where I was just kind of like, "What do you think about this?" And everyone in the band is like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And then there's a few where they kind of more came together in the studio with all of us. So there's a lot of different like kind of situational like outcomes, but all the right ones. Like sometimes I'm having a good day over here writing and I get there. Some days me and Mikey need to bounce shit off of each other. And some days the whole band is in the studio and we say, let's fuck around and make a song, or, we have a start to a song from either Mikey or myself and we kind of build. But yeah, grateful for all those different scenarios. Because that's how we got the record that we got.
With being able to like travel and I'm the Avalanche being a little bit more spaced out in comparison to your other bands, with night sports being such like you guys were saying about how your neighbors, do you sometimes ever find it difficult with not having to change the scenery? I know like creative process sometimes is about change the scenery. Like, do you ever find it kind of, not want to say grueling, but a little bit more difficult or a little bit more blunted in comparison when you're with I'm the Avalanche?
When you're like when you mean like night sports just riding in Brooklyn?
Yeah, like, do you guys ever have to like venture out or go anywhere for that?
No, everything. It's like when the songs begin in Henbo's head, being inside Henbo's head, which I've had glimpses of being in there, and like I think I know the guy pretty well at this point. Being inside Henbo's head is never a dull occasion. Um, he has an entire universe in there. He probably has like a few different universes in there and many galaxies. So no, me and him standing in our practice space with a dry erase board and me holding a guitar and Henbo just looking at me, and we're just literally standing a few feet away from each other. That's how we write. That's not been dull. We always get something too. It's never like, oh yeah, we tried today. We always get
Mhm.
something, and almost all of it is probably going to be on this record we're making. But yeah, no, it's never dull, and we don't. When you ask that question, my brain immediately goes to, "Ooh, that sounds fun." Nightmare. I'm sorry, I almost said night sports. It's all getting confusing. Uh, Night sports, going on a writing retreat, and basically we go on a little vacation together and then
Yeah,
make cool shit, but also party. That probably is something that will happen. Um, but no, I don't feel like night sports we need like to get out of town to like have a writing retreat. It's going really well in Brooklyn.
that's awesome. And I think it's cool too. Like, a lot of people write their best work when they're in their hometown with their friends. I was talking to Justice from Angel Dust, and we kind of mentioned like with his new album going back, he was in LA and coming back to Baltimore, like being in his home, being in his roots, like it really helped
Oh
his creative
yeah,
process.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah, going back home to your childhood home and returning there as an adult and putting roots down and stuff. That's got to be an amazing feeling for him. And I bet that was really inspiring. Yeah, and that record's amazing. I'm so happy for them. Um, the the lyrics for this record were written in a lot of different places, and that was helpful. Sometimes I get stuff done right here, like standing in my kitchen, just or I go to the practice space, or I literally, just go to a bar and sit at the bar and just with a notepad and have a beer or whatever. But like I wrote lyrics on planes for this record. I wrote lyrics in Northern California. I was there visiting my wife who was working for like a few weeks out there. Um, I don't know, she was out there for like a month and I visited her for like 10 days and she was working a lot. So I rented a car and just drove up and down the Pacific Coast Highway, um, above and below Santa Cruz, and was just like getting songs out there. The three final songs I wrote lyrics for this record were written in Northern California. So like that says a lot for like changing the scenery when it need, when you feel like you're hitting a rut. So yeah, I mean, I probably only wrote half of the lyrics for this record in Brooklyn.
Do you ever see like a change in the style or your approach with writing um, lyrics or riffs when you're in different areas, or is it kind of just like kind of just sparks and because I don't know if there's any type of influence like you're saying about how you're on the Pacific coast of Santa Cruz, like to me that's, more beach rock. Like different
Right.
influences kind of spark.
Yeah, like it's not going to be like, oh, cool, fool. Now I need to write like a lush Beach Boys song. It's just more like I'm literally just in a different place. My brain is operating slightly differently. Um, the with the when you say riffs and stuff, that happens when I'm holding different guitars. I find if I grab a guitar that I'm not normally playing, I end up doing different stuff. So it really depends on the guitar too. Um, but yeah, it's good to keep it fresh, and you know when you need to refresh. You know when you need to like freshen things up. You know when you're like, I'm all right. I wrote something cool, half of it on the couch, and now I'm in a rut. Cool. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna go look at Manhattan and just whatever. I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna listen to somebody's conversation that walks right past me. Like it could be two words, and I'll be like, cool. I'm gonna sit down and have a Guinness. I'm gonna get this verse done. Now I know what this song's about. There's just when you're writing and you're actually making the time to write as like a something that you just do all the time, you'll get so much stuff and everything influences you.
When you're writing for all these different bands, which I'm sure can be overwhelming at times, do you ever have a song where you're like, this actually might be more of a movie life song, or maybe I should present this to the night sports guys? Or do you feel like at this point in time, releasing so many records, you have a pretty good knowledge and you understand what your project, like how you want it to be?
I feel like we can, at least as of recent years, I think we can eliminate movie life out of that discussion just because I'm not ever actively writing movie life stuff, at least not in
Hmm.
the last like 8, 9 years. Um, it's more like solo stuff. So it's not necessarily solo, but if I'm messing around, if I play solo shows all the time. So a lot of times I like to just try out new stuff at solo shows. Um, and sometimes those songs become I Am the Avalanche songs. Um, and a lot of times it is, and that happened with Movie Life actually on the last record in Cities in Search of a Heart. The song Pour Two Glasses, which is kind of the standout from that record, is something that Brandon Riley was just like, I love that song you played tonight. Can you, I want, let's do that. Let's us do that.
Let
And
me
I'm
in.
like, yeah, dude. I'm like, I'm down. Um, that happened a few times on the new record. It will happen, and I'm not closing my mind to any of that. Um, and it's not something that is ever my idea. It's the Avalanche record. There was two songs that I pictured possibly being on a solo record, um, where Mikey and Rat were like, "We want those songs. Let's try at least try to make them Avalanche songs." And they're fucking cool. And there's no rules, and I don't care. I just want to put out good music and just keep doing that. Whatever it's under is fine, and there will be, there'll be different vibes to each project. But night sports is also not a thing because I don't write the music and then bring it to Henbo. I
Yeah,
just
that's
write the
true.
music to Henbo. So it's more just like, cool, this is night sports.
Being in so many projects, do you ever find it like overwhelming? Because you're a pretty busy guy. You're saying about like you're doing solo shows and stuff. Or is it you kind of do that for your own sanity of staying busy with all the different bands and stuff?
I do like to stay busy with all the different projects and derive joy from all of them in different ways. Sometimes it can get a little overwhelming if there's tons of things that need to be addressed with everything at once. But usually it's juggling like shows and schedules, keeping things separated. There's certain cycles of things where I know what I need to be dedicating my time to. For the most part, it's not that demanding, and there are all things that I care very much about. So I'm very happy to get stuck into all of it and figure it all out.
You guys, for I Am The Avalanche, you guys have a UK headlining tour, and you guys also have an East Coast headlining tour, as well as you guys are also, you guys were announced to play on that Thrice show in Virginia, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, man.
You guys have, you guys are covering pretty much the entire like Northeast, your main points. Do you find it difficult, or not difficult? Do you find it a different type of enjoyment playing in the Northeast in comparison to going out the West Coast and doing your like the run you just did with the Messingers?
Yeah, it's nice to be able to do both. To go out and play all these wild cities out in this country, like, and play, do the kind of tour we just did with the Menzingers, and then be able to also go and play in kind of our home turf is like the dream that we're doing everything we want to be doing. The Northeast is like, there's a lot less driving, I'll tell you that. There's
Yeah.
so much driving once you get out there. But absolutely love the West Coast. We would play there so much more if we weren't 3,000 miles away. And we have so many things going on in our busy lives, but we do what we can. The Northeast is obviously where we play the most. That's kind of changing. We have all these plans, some of which we haven't announced yet, to be in some other places with this record, which is important to us that we get it around the country, in our own at our own speed. Um, and then the UK is just a place where I personally, never neglect the UK. I'm in the UK more than I'm on the West Coast. I play solo shows there. I play Movielife shows there, and now we're playing Avalanche shows there again for the first time in like 12 years. Um, but these are we know we need to get around, and we want to get around, and we're making as much sacrifice as we can, and we're making as much time as we can with our lives to get out there and play for as many people as we can, and kind of have that kind of fun that we always have, with more cities than just the Northeast. Like, we'll always play around here, but we're very um we're very happy that for the last month we've played literally everywhere but the Northeast. It's been good to get out there and play to some new people.
With I just wanted to touch too. You guys, weirdly enough, I had Bob from Hey Mercedes on, and he's also a part of like those little individual thrice shows with like different sports each concert and stuff. What was it
Yeah.
like being approached by them? Was it kind of out of the blue, or was it something maybe coming off the new album?
I'm not actually sure where it came from. I have a history with those guys. We Movie Life and Thrice toured together for a few months, way back in the day, and stayed friends. And
Mhm.
um, I'm not really sure where it came about. We had an off day like on the headlining run, and we did want to play Richmond. We did want to play down there, and the timing was just perfect. Um, and we would like to play to like a bunch of new people there, and I'm sure we'll have our fans. They're great to us, and that Virginia Beach, Richmond, is just great scenes. Um, but that was just something that just happily happened. I haven't even talked to the guys in Thrice about it. I'm just gonna show up to the show. They're not like guys I text all the time. The Breckenridges are, people that I love running into, and the they're obviously a band that we respect a lot. And uh, I think Avalanche and Thrice is a nice combo, actually.
You were saying too about how, I mean, there's kind of like that longevity with these bands and still being able to play music after all these years. You wouldn't expect that. Is it still kind of crazy too? Like you were touring with Thrice for the movie Life years ago, and now you're like able to play a huge
Yeah,
show, and you guys like really like made it and like were able to still, you know, show
it's
your
very
craft.
it's very special. Um, it's that's music. Music's wild like that. It brings things so full circle so many times. Um, and I'm so glad myself and my pals in the bands and guys like Thrice and Bayside and Newfound and Carmen Stereo and I can't keep listing bands, but I mean bands that have been around for a really long time that still do it and still enjoy it.
hmm
Otherwise they wouldn't do it. It's a beautiful thing. Music is so important to so many of myself and my friends and my peers, and it's awesome to see so many old guy bands. And I don't mean that. I mean that with respect. Um, doing it and doing it really well and enjoying themselves because they deserve all the love that they get.
And I'll leave you with this one final question about you're teetering with starting to write the next record for I Am The Avalanche. Is there something that you wish you'd done or something already that kind of clicked in your mind that you would like to translate to the next record?
I want to push the boundaries even further. I want to explore more places. Like it's not like okay, we did that now. It's like let's all right, I miss California and all the dogs I've ever met. Cool. This is just like the tip of an iceberg of a place that we can explore.
Mhm.
Oh, True Legends Never Die. All right, that's an insanely heavy song for Avalanche. Where else can we go in that direction of like what other kind of interesting songs can we make in that vein? 555, where else can we go with that kind of dreamier world? And it's just like that's what I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about exploring further some of the places that we kind of have only just begun to touch on.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Vinny. I really appreciate it. And I really do always, I feel like I'm the Avalanche is always a band that even if I'm not like actively seeking out, I'm always going to your shows. Like I saw you guys with Bayside. You guys were one of my favorite sets at a Jason Festival in Atlantic
Oh
City.
yeah,
That was really fun. That was like I think that was my second time seeing you guys, and I just really like all the music that you guys put on. I think the new record is absolutely fantastic. So I appreciate
I
you
really do.
sharing that with us.
I really do appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words, and I do appreciate the chat.
Absolutely. And I will definitely be at one of your shows in the Northeast. I'm probably going to go to Philly or maybe Boston. I don't know. I'm pretty close with Gary from Crime and Stereo, so I
Oh, cool.
might have to make the trip up.
Come
But
on up.
yeah, guys, there's gonna be a ton of links down below. There'll be links to I Am the Avalanche's Instagram, which is the best way to keep up, and along with Vinny's Instagram. Like he said, he does a ton of solo shows, which are absolutely awesome to see. And yeah, come out, say hi, buy some merch, and yeah, till next time. Peace,
I'll
guys.
see y'all out on the road. Peace.